Here is J.S. Giguere, who has played for Randy Carlyle, has also played in the bubble of Toronto. Nobody preaches defense more than Randy Carlyle and accountability. Why do you think he couldn't get through to this core? John?
Yeah, yes, hi. Thanks for having me, guys. I don't know. It's a weird situation because I remember in Anaheim when I was playing for Randy, we did have an amazing defense. I think that was our staple, and I always enjoyed playing for Randy for that matter because it made my job much easier. So for some reason, the guys in Toronto don't seem to buy into defense. It was that same way when I played there. And
maybe their names aren't Pronger and Niedermeyer.
Yeah, that helps.
Well, there is that, but there is something to us team defense. Everybody has to contribute, and you can't.
You are right.
Have one guy going one direction and the rest of the team can play a different way. I think that never works in this league.
You saw it with this group when you played? Because some of the...
Well, and I think we weren't as good, 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago now. We definitely weren't as good as they are now. But, I saw it. Guys didn't want to buy into the system, and I think it's the same thing with Randy. It's just he tries to come in and install a system, but you need guys to buy in. And if that doesn't, work, if guys don't, go in their own direction, you can't be successful that way.
Jean, there's a real perception in this market that Randy didn't preach those things, and I shake my head and laugh about it. That Randy Carlyle is a good defensive coach, and you've talked about it. But come on, it's about what you've talked about. You've got to buy in. You've got to want to play team defense, and then it comes a point you got to make major personnel changes.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I think Randy is a really tough coach. He's very stubborn. Probably the most stubborn coach I've played for.
Touch Randy. Remember that game?
Maybe to a fault. And I mean, I've had my moments with Randy. Don't you can believe me on that. But at the same time, he's a really good coach, and you got to give him a lot of credit for what he can bring to a team. And I think that's we had a really good team in Anaheim in 2007 when we won. But you also need a good coach to win. You can't do it just the players. You need to have a good system. And like I say, when all the guys play the same way and they buy in and they go to war together playing the same way, you have a chance to be successful. But from far, I'm in Montreal and I see what the Leafs are. It just seems like from one night to the next, you don't know what you're going to get. And it's I don't know if it's all the coach's fault there.
JS, maybe I'm a little old school here and I've been retired too long and you a lot less now. But at some point, doesn't 20 players in that room kind of push the coach aside and kind of take over that room and go up to certain individuals and say, if you're not buying in, if you're not a guy who thinks of the team first, then I'm going to have a big problem with you. And I don't know. Does that happen anymore? Should it? I mean, shouldn't some players really go? Isn't that what leadership is?
Group.
Isn't that true leadership? Is if you got an issue with a guy that's not playing the right way or playing the way we want to play or blowing the zone out before the puck's out, shouldn't the players take accountability on that?
Jean did that in Colorado, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the players have the right to do that to each other. I truly believe in having some internal leadership and making sure that the room is well run and that guys are accountable to each other. And some of the mistakes you see, you shouldn't even have the coach telling you. It should be between players. And I don't know what
I don't know if these guys are close enough to do that.
Yeah, okay. And
I don't know. Yeah.
On that point, Jean, what if the biggest culprits are the leadership, that the biggest culprits to the style of play are within your leadership group? That's a different story, isn't it? You don't remember that with the big boys in Anaheim. They weren't the problem.
Yeah,
the big boys, when the big boys are a problem.
Well, ask the question then. Do you think the big boys are a problem with this
their
roster?
style of play?
Yeah.
It's tough to say. Like, I'm not around the Leafs enough. Obviously, I mean, everybody can see it. You have one or two guys playing one way, and the rest of the team is asked to play a different way, that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. When we had Scott Niedermayer and Chris Pronger as leaders, well, all you have to do is follow their way, and then you're going to be successful. But whose way are you going to follow in Toronto right now? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Very good question,
enough, but whose way are you going to follow? But for me, the easy thing to do as a player is to say nothing. You just stay comfortable. You sit in your stall. You don't say anything to your teammate because you don't want to get him mad. You don't want to get in his face. And I think that sometimes is the wrong approach, because sometimes, the hard thing is to say something to somebody or to criticize somebody in his face.
Well, you played with Phil. Phil was here when you played for the Leafs.
Yes.
Dion was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Joffrey Lupul was with them. Who else? Tyler Bozak was with them.
Bozak was there. Yeah.
So do you think that group, from what you remember, what you know of them,
are they capable
is able to lead?
I think there's some leadership in there. I don't know what's their dynamic now, but I don't know. It's a tough question, because I don't want to put anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, the players have to take a hard look at themselves and see what they can do better, because.
Okay, from a style point of view, do you think a coaching change makes any difference here?
I don't think it's going to make any difference. I think that the players seem to want to play the way they want to play, and you can't just be pond hockey playing pond hockey style of game in the NHL anymore. You need to have some structure, and it's great to have some offense and to be able to do what you want to do in the offensive zone. Nobody has a problem with that. I think it's more exciting, and that's the way the game should be played.
Yeah, pond hockey almost gave.
Once the turnover happens, you have to have a structure, and you have to really work your butt off to come back in the zone and make everything you can do to make sure that they don't score a goal. You can't just rely on your goalie night after night, so you don't give goals. And then I don't know. It's amazing to watch the Leaf play some days. You're like shaking your head. You just can't believe it.
Yeah, that's the best quote right there.
You have to empathize with us, because we have to do it on a regular basis.
Pond hockey almost gave the nation a heart attack last night, so we don't want to go down that road.
Exactly.
That was
thanks for doing this,
Thanks.
and appreciate it, and the candid thoughts.
Well, thanks, guys, and have a good day.